What is good, Jerry Yappers? Today we have a very special episode incoming. We are talking Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Well, I played through Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered, but it's actually pretty much a one-to-one remake. There's a few different things on like the multiplayer, and we'll get into that. But we're primarily going to just be talking about, the old game, a little bit of the new game, but just, man, who played this shit when it first came out? I absolutely adore this game. This is like probably my second favorite Call of Duty, right after Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I don't think anything will ever top Black Ops 1 in my opinion. It just hits on all three. Campaign is excellent. Zombies is excellent. Multiplayer is excellent. But, we probably wouldn't have had Black Ops 1 without Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So... And when did they drop the numbers, by the way? I know Call of Duty 4 was like the last time they sequentially or numbered them like that, huh? They just kind of stopped doing that, I guess. But I guess they don't really take place in the same universe at all. But yeah, man, today we are talking some COD 4, and I am super excited. I wanted this video to be special. I wanted it to be, this game had a huge impact on me and the way I view multiplayer games. Invigorated my love for shooter games in general. Just absolute classic too, man. What a fucking awesome game. So I feel like I should just mention first how I got to the game, or how I got it, right? So I was never really into Call of Duty. I mean, I've seen it. I knew it was primarily a World War II game. There was like 3 Call of Duties that came out before Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and they were all World War II games. So, I knew what they were. I just didn't really ever play them at all. So I might go back and play the old ones eventually, but, I hear they're not great. So, Halo came out like in September of 2007, Halo 3, and I was hooked on that, man. I loved Halo. I loved Halo 1, I loved Halo 2. Huge games in my family. We were all Halo gamers growing up. But I got Call of Duty 4 for my birthday. The Call of Duty 4 came out originally November 5th, 2007. My birthday's on November 10th. So my sister bought me Call of Duty 4 for my birthday. And I was like, ugh, what the fuck is this? Call of Duty? What is this shit? I don't want this. And then I remember, and I ended up playing the campaign that night. And I was blown away, man. Like, I don't know if it was like the first time. It was the first time I ever played like a modern combat, like military style shooter. And it just blew my fucking mind. You know what I mean? Especially because of like all the stuff, that was going on in like the Middle East and stuff. I didn't really know too much about it as a kid, but I just knew it was, something that was happening in the world. So to be able to play something that was happening like that, just like, I don't know, man, it just made me feel some type of way, dude. I really don't know what it was. But yeah, that's it, man. I played the campaign when I was young, and that's all I really ever thought of it. And then my buddy Tyler was like, hey, have you tried the multiplayer? We should play the multiplayer. I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm just still playing Halo. I haven't really, tried to get into the multiplayer or anything. And then he was like, let's play. So we played, and dude, I fell in love with it. The leveling, the class creation, the prestiging, the golden guns, the camo grind. Like, dude, I know it seems like, they haven't updated it much recently, but I mean, for the time, this was like insane. Like, you just felt like you had so much progression and so much to grind for. It really felt like putting your time into the game like was rewarded. Same with Halo. The rankings in Halo, now that I played a lot of Halo 3. Like, I bounced between COD 4 and Halo 3 forever when I was young. And Halo had the rankings per playlist, which was really cool. I used to be really insane at Lone Wolves and team doubles. I used to be like some of the highest ranks, but that's besides the point. We're talking Call of Duty here. Fuck Halo. We're talking Call of Duty. But man, I just love old Call of Duty 4, man. So why don't we just, intro's been a little long here. I'm going to get right into, let's just talk about the campaign, I guess. We'll talk about the campaign first. We'll talk about the multiplayer second. and then we'll talk about maybe the remastered multiplayer because it does a little things different. There's like a depot and stuff now. Overall, it stays the same though, and there might be like an additional map or so. But yeah, let's get into the campaign, man. I played the campaign on veteran. I probably won't play the future CODs on veteran just because I forgot how annoying and difficult it is. That it's not. I mean, it's like a partial skill issue, right? Like I can't blame the AI 100%. But however, they are grenade happy. They grenade spam the fuck out of you, and then they have a literal aimbot too. So if you peek out at like 2 or 3 of them, you're just gonna fucking die. But yeah, it's all about, taking angles, playing cover really well, having good utility usage like flash grenades and stuff, grid grenade those, and just quietly and precisely picking off enemies one by one, unless there's like unlimited spawn sections. But that's all I'll really say about the AI. We'll probably talk about that at the end more when I score it, or if I do score it. I might not, dude. I love this game too much to shit on it, but that's all I really have to complain about. The rest of it's just going to be talking about, what we're doing in the story and how, just how each mission felt. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to go by there. So once you click on the new campaign or new game, it brings you right into the famous world overmap that we all know Call of Duty does between each mission. It basically just brings up a view of the globe. They set up, or they talk about a little bit what you're going to do in the next mission, or they set up the plot or stuff like that. In this case, they're talking about what's happening in Russia. There's basically a civil war in Russia, ultranationalists versus, government loyalists. They're threatening nuclear warfare. Also, they mention how al-Assad is becoming a problem in the Middle East. And then finally, they mention Soap, the new recruit. And then after that, the camera flies down and you are in the famous fucking firing range part of COD 4, man. This is arguably like the most iconic part of the game, is it not? It basically brings you through the tutorial. It does the quick lean stuff, the quick snap targeting stuff. I played on mouse and keyboard, so it didn't do that. I was just doing basic target practice. But man, this is where the famous remember, switching to your pistol is faster than reloading sequence comes from, that we always hear today. Like, that is such a fucking common phrase. Guys, if you're a shooter game player and you have not heard that term, I don't know where you've been. You must be 3 years old at this point. Switching to your pistol is faster than reloading. That's just so fucking iconic, man. So awesome. And then after that, you go to the FNG course, right? We meet Captain Price for the first time, and he's like, oh yeah, you got to run this course, man. And then we all know what this is. You basically run through this course, and how fast you get through it determines it gives you a difficulty recommendation. If you fly through this thing, it'll recommend veteran. If you're slow, it'll recommend recruit. Doesn't FNG stand for fucking new guy as well, which is pretty cool. I love that. Not too much to say about this first mission. It's just a real introduction to the mechanics of the game, which there isn't too much stuff to worry about. It's all about just shooting, reloading, throwing your equipment, and that's basically it. I ended up getting 18.5 as my final time. Just because, man, I told you, there was an achievement for beating the IW dev time, right? And I had to grind that on the original Xbox when I was fucking young. So I spent a lot of time, just learning the pop-up spawns and learning the flash grenade throwing timings. And it paid off, man. That's that shit I remembered from way back then that I was able to apply now. So that was pretty sweet. Right after you get your course time, you just head over to the Captain Price, the computer monitors, and you select your difficulty. And then you get on to the official first mission, technically the second mission of the game, Crew Expendable, which if this is, I'm going to say they're all iconic, but man, this one really is the wet work mission on the cargo ship, the night vision, the rain. Such a sick intro mission. So we are playing as Soap, actually. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, in the first and second mission, you're playing as Soap. This first mission, you're playing with Task Force 141 event. Is that already established? Or I think that's at the end, actually, isn't it? It's just Captain Price, Gaz, the classic fucking the crew. Back when Gaz was white, he's white in this game. For some reason, they changed him to black in the reboot series. I just, I don't really care personally. It's just like, it's kind of just weird, because if I feel like if you had a black guy and you changed him white, the fucking internet and the world would be in an uproar. It's just kind of weird to see, but whatever. I mean, they're trying to cater to a different audience or whatever. I don't know. We'll just breeze past that real quick. But yeah, the fucking iconic wet work mission, man. The reason we're here, we're trying to recover a suspected nuclear device. But we only end up finding a manifest pointing to Al-Assad as the intended buyer of the nuclear weapons. You're basically just moving throughout this cargo ship, killing enemies and just trying to secure that the intel, or trying to follow up on the intel, right? Once you grab the manifest, you have to escape because the ship gets bombed by enemy helicopters. They really don't want you to get out of there with that. So you have to escape the burning and sinking ship, right? So you're hauling ass with your team all throughout the ship to get topside. And then eventually, it's the famous action scene, jump to the helicopter, barely make it, start to fall. Captain Price is like, "Oi, I've got you, lad." And then he pulls you up to safety. Pretty sweet. This leads directly into the next mission that you play, air quotes, Mission 3, The Coup, which you play as President Yassir, right? This mission kind of serves as like an opening credit sequence. There's a bunch of the developers' names and stuff. And what's happening is you're the president of some Middle Eastern country, and you're getting dragged by these two guys into a car. Obviously, you're being held hostage to some degree, and they're driving you around town. The credits are opening. You're seeing all the names, and eventually you're being led to your death. Unfortunately, this is where we first see Imran Zakhaev for the first time. He hands Al-Assad the deagle, which Al-Assad then uses to put a bullet in your brain and kill the president. I just realized it's actually like an unnamed country in the Middle East, which is probably good, because I probably shouldn't go and say and blame countries for not that it's like, it's fiction or whatever, but I probably shouldn't say, it's Iraq, it's Iran, it's Pakistan, when I just don't know what I'm talking about. So, I don't even know. But that's all really The Coup is. The third mission, it's just a cinematic opening experience. You move directly on to the fourth mission from this, which is Mission 4, Blackout, which you're playing as Soap with the SAS. Basically, there is a Russian informant, Nikolai, who's about to be executed. Price and the team have to come save this guy, essentially. Because this guy, Nikolai, is an informant for the SAS. He's giving us Russian information that's very, very valuable, so we want to save him. But first, what we have to do is help this one Russian guy. Sergeant Kamarov is the guy. He basically is trying to get you to help his troops, but at the same time, you're there for Nikolai. You know what I mean? He's the informant. He's the guy who let you know the intel on the cargo ship. So we need this guy alive, right? So eventually Gaz has enough of this guy trying to fuck us around and get him to help him out. And then we eventually find out that Nikolai is being held at this one house at the end of the road. So we break in and save his ass. And it's this really badass night vision portion of the game where Bravo 6 going dark, fucking famous ass line comes out here. Most iconic line in the series, debatedly. And then, you just breach this house, killing these forces that can't see you, these Russian forces. They have no idea. Gaz cuts the power. You eventually save Nikolai, give him a gun, and then you fight your way back to the LZ. Or my bad, you don't fight to the LZ in this one. The helicopter just kind of lands next to you. You all get picked up, and then the mission ends. Easy peasy. Moving on to the fifth mission of the game, Charlie Don't Surf. playing as Paul Jackson, a sergeant of the United States Marine Corps. And this was the first time you figure out, oh, okay, we're actually going to play as multiple characters. This is actually pretty cool, which I've never done in a game before, besides like Halo 2, of course. But it was just kind of cool in Call of Duty. It was just like an extra, okay, you're going to be playing as more than just this one, British dick. But it was pretty cool, man. The whole premise of this mission is, stated in that overview. Lieutenant Vasquez, he's basically just like, yeah, we have a fix on Al-Assad in a building over here. We're gonna breach it. We're gonna get him. We're gonna pick him up. And that's the whole premise. That's what you want to do. So you're kind of just invading this Middle Eastern country. Opening mission or opening sequence, bunch of helicopters fly in, and then you're just basically fighting through the streets of this place, fighting through different buildings, eventually coming to this broadcast station, making your way through the broadcast station, fighting all these baddies, only to eventually realize that it's just a broadcast playing. It's bad intel. Al-Assad escaped. It's just a recording of him playing, so you kind of get jebaited here. This mission was not too hard. It just has a fuck ton of spawns, man. And that's kind of like a theme of this game. There's just a fuck ton of enemy spawns. You have to find time to just move upwards to get your guys to move up. You have to kill guys and move up. That's basically the theme of how you play this game. Once you realize that the broadcast is a fake, you get new orders from command, and then we head on to mission 6, which is the Bog. We play as USMC Sergeant Paul Jackson again, and this time we have to help protect the tank Warpig, codename Warpig, and just basically clear enemies off of it. That's all this mission really is. A lot of enemy spawns and just a lot of shooting here. You got to kill an anti-air gun eventually. That's trying to take down your shit, and then basically clear more enemies off this LZ marker. You have to place the LZ marker, and then eventually your boys come in to help you. That's really it. I mean, there's not really that all much to say about this mission. No huge plot points or anything. You're just trying to help this tank Warpig that's kind of just dead in the water here. You want to help your engineers get to it and fix it up, man. So that's really it, man. I feel like I'm just gonna kind of fly through these missions. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them, especially because if for some reason somebody besides me in the future is listening to this, please go play this game, dude. It is such a cool cinematic experience. It feels like you're playing through an actual like war story. It's just all of the charm, and like you can't replicate it through words like I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to do this so, because this is like going to be my love letter to the game. I'll probably never go back and play it again. I just, I love this game, and it's truly something special playing through it. You got to go play through it. Moving on to mission number 7, Hunted. We go back to SOAP. We're on the SAS. We're playing as SOAP. Basically, it takes place right off of the back of mission 4 when you save Nikolai and come into the helicopter. The helicopter that you're in and extracting from gets shot down by a Stinger missile. And now you have to survive, I love the premise for this mission. It's like something you don't expect. You're just like, oh, okay, we're on our way to go do something. No, you just get shot the fuck right out of the sky. So after you get shot out of the sky, your pilot unfortunately dies. And yeah, the whole premise of this mission is just trying to survive. All of the Russian forces, they have helicopters looking for you. They have a giant search party just looking for you. So this mission has a lot of stealth in it. Also, the helicopter, you're just being hunted. That's the name of the mission. You eventually make your way to this little farmhouse and you take out the helicopter with a Stinger, which leads you directly into the next mission, which is, I know I'm going to say it a lot, guys, but this next mission is so iconic, man. It really is. The next mission, Death from Above, and you play as an AC-130 gunner. I know this mission is kind of played out. They kind of do this mission in every single game, but this was the first that we saw it, and it eventually goes on to become a kill streak in Modern Warfare 2, which is so sick. It's so fucking iconic. The AC-130, if you don't know, it's a giant-ass warship, has 3 types of guns and cannons on it. You you cycle through all three of them. One's a giant shot, one's like a medium shot, and then the other one's like just a turret gunner shot. All three of them, you have to make use of all three of them. It's like a infrared sights. All the enemies are highlighted in white. In the remastered version, you can change it to black too. You might be able to even do that in the regular game. I cannot remember for sure though. But yeah, in this mission, you just play as the AC-130 gunner. You're helping support Price and 141 from above as they make their way through enemy villages and extract like at a junkyard. So you're just killing all millions, not millions, but a lot of Russian forces that are trying to kill your team here, and you're just protecting them as they move through this town. It's fucking sick, dude. And that is mission number 8. Moving on to mission number 9, which is War Pig. We go back to USMC Sergeant Paul Jackson for this one. The tank gets fixed up. War Pig, it eventually gets fixed up, and now you have to escort the fixed tank through enemy territory, clearing multiple baddies. Eventually, that's all you're really doing. You're just kind of moving through this town. You're kind of just trying to locate Al-Assad. No major plot points or anything. That's what you're just doing here, man. You're just trying to find Al-Assad, that piece of shit. We're trying to make him pay. Moving on to mission number 10 is Shock and Awe. Still playing as Paul Jackson here. Just continuing off the back of War Pig here. We join in on an attack of where we think Al-Assad's position is in his capital city. We start clearing it out because of nuclear threats, which is crazy, right? They basically just call all the Marines back. Nuclear threats are being made. Obviously, we want to get our boys out of there. We do not want to die. One of the pilots gets shot down, a codename Deadly. We go back down to rescue Deadly, and we actually do it. We actually do make it. But here's the twist. I don't know if it's really a twist because they do talk about it, but the nukes get detonated, man. And right as you think you're getting out, right as you think you've saved the other pilot and can get out, you just see the fucking mushroom cloud go up. You see the tremors. You see the wave, the shock wave coming through, knocks your helicopter out of the sky. And dude, seeing this for the first time was just like so mind-blowing as a child. I was like probably 13 or 14 when I first played this. Probably too young, but you know, this was like my becoming a man shit. I'm like, oh god damn, I lost my brothers here. We're losing brothers here. We're fucking losing brothers, man. No. This mission eventually leads into number 11, Aftermath. I don't know what the fuck my voice was there. You ever have your voice just like get like that sometimes? I don't know what the hell does that or causes it, but Aftermath. Paul Jackson, you awake in the crash of the helicopter, badly wounded. You crawl out of the heli. All you see is like basically just fallout, nuclear fallout, buildings collapsing, bodies everywhere, smoke everywhere, dirt everywhere. You're just seeing your Marines dead, destruction everywhere. It's actually really fucked up. You know, the aftermath of this nuke. This is really the first time I ever saw this as a child. Like, this is war. You know, this is what it can happen. It's fucked up, man. And then you eventually just collapse and die, and you're marked as KIA. Very big tragedy. You know, this blew our minds, or blew my mind at least when I was a kid. Just seeing this shit was just insane for the first time, man. Very, very tragic. R.I.P. Paul Jackson. R.I.P. a lot of the members of the USMC. So coming off of Aftermath is mission number 12, Safe House. We now play as Soap. I believe for the rest of the game, besides a couple missions, we get intel from Nikolai that there's a safe house in Azerbaijan, which was used by Al-Assad previously in a small village. You have to kill Russian forces protecting him. You have to clear a bunch of buildings to find him. He's eventually in the last one, of course, you know. Price, he interrogates him, eventually ends up shooting him after we get a call on his home. He gets a call on his phone, and it's from Imran Zakhaev, the guy from the third mission, The Coup. He's one of the leader of the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen was the name of the group of the four men who they aim to try to become like the dominant world power and usurp power from the Western world, essentially. Also, I never really realized this before, but like when the mission starts out, you can hear like the screaming of the villagers, like males and females, like screaming as they're being killed. Like it's actually, dude, I never really realized when I was a kid because this is the first time, guys. This is the first time I've played the campaign since. Wait, let me actually look it up. I'm gonna look up my old Xbox shit. One second. Okay, so I just looked it up, which is fucking awesome that you can do that. The fact that I can look through my old games on Xbox and see what the exact date of the achievements that pop up is so sick, by the way. Okay, so here it is. Win the war. Complete the game on any difficulty. Unlocked November 29th, 2007. So within the same month this game came out, I beat the campaign. And then I eventually went on to beat the campaign again on Veteran. Where is it? Deep and Hard. That was 2008 April. So I played it again to do that. And then I eventually played the game again remastered, but that was back in 2016 just to get the achievements again on Veteran, back when it re-released. So I did that. And that was like sometime in 2016. So yeah. I've only played this campaign through 3 times, I guess, over the years, which, I mean, it's getting close to 20 years old, guys. I mean, it's a pretty fucking solid campaign and it holds up that long. But yeah, I was just gonna say, I didn't pick up on details like the villagers screaming and shit way back then, which is just, it's something like, I just love going back to games like this because, you catch shit that you missed the first couple of times. It's just very interesting. But overall, this mission isn't too bad. It's just one of those ones where enemies are going to spawn infinitely unless you have good move up timings. That's really it. You just got to make sure you're clearing these buildings, moving up when there's no enemies. It's just hard, though, because you can't really tell because they all blend in, especially because it's nighttime. And then, yeah, dude, when you shoot, or when Price shoots Al-Assad in the face after talking with Zakhaev on the phone, too, it's just funny because that's like something that's actually pretty fucked up to watch. But as a kid, like, I'm just so indifferent to violence, or I've just been playing and seeing it in media for so long that it's just like, you just brush it off. You're just like, oh, okay, whatever, dude. So right after we shoot Al-Assad in the face and end that pussy's life, we get into All Gillied Up, which is such an iconic fucking mission, dude. I know I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it after this video because, guys, this is just such a sick mission. If you've played this mission, you know what I'm talking about. It's so sick. So these missions, there's one after this too. They both take place 15 years prior to the events that we're currently playing through. This one, All Gillied Up, we play as John Price, Captain Price, back when he was a lieutenant. It's a flashback mission to the assassination attempt of Imran Zakhaev. He mentions this is the first assassination attempt since World War II. Obviously meaning Adolf Hitler. But that's what we're doing. We're sneaking through an abandoned Chernobyl village to eventually get up to a large building that we have a Barrett sniper on, and that just ends the level there. All Gillied Up is just carefully. It's the stealth mission of Call of Duty, guys. Like, this is arguably like the stealth mission of the game. You're just in a ghillie suit. You got the famous N21 with the ghillie camo on it. It looks so fucking cool. Remastered, it looks amazing too. The graphics look so good in this game, dude. But yeah, you're sneaking past various enemies. There's the famous sequence where you're prone under all the trucks and the tank. There's the famous sequence where you're in the field and you have to drop down and go prone and let the guys in the tanks walk around you and drive around you. This mission is just so fucking iconic. Like, it's the fucking stealth mission of the Call of Duty franchise, man. And it's just, I love it. Going back to this one is just such a treat every time. And then it leads directly into mission number 14, which is One Shot, One Kill. We're still playing as Lieutenant John Price in the continuation of All Gillied Up. Imran is attempting to sell uranium rods to ultranationalists, Russian ultranationalists. Price and McMillan, you wait atop this abandoned building for 3 days, waiting for this deal to go down in an attempt to assassinate Imran. But the wind ends up carrying your bullet to only knocking his arm off, right? You only just shoot his arm off. Your cover gets blown. You have to shoot down this helicopter that's looking at you, which is pretty sick. And then eventually, you're found out. The assassination goes bad. And it's cool. I'm just going to mention this really quick. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's cool how you see this mission come back in Modern Warfare 3 with some new details. Just very cool to see. Thought I'd mention that really quick. If you know, you know. But yeah, you rappel down the giant building. You have to escape, and that's what it is. It's a giant escape sequence. You're killing enemies. You're running through the city of Chernobyl. There's attack dogs looking for you. You're just trying to throw these guys off, getting through buildings, and then we go to the famous. I'm gonna say it again. Another iconic ass fucking part of the game here with the Ferris wheel. You know, this is the scene in the fucking beginning. Every time you boot up COD 4, guys, 50,000 people used to live here, but now it's a ghost town. Like, so fucking memorable, dude. Everybody, every Call of Duty player, every OG COD player knows that line, knows this Ferris wheel. And that's what you do. You get to this Ferris wheel, you call in your choppers for backup. They take a while to get there, and you're fending off Russian soldiers. You know, you place a bunch of claymores around. You have the sniper. I picked up an AK as well, so I have a sniper AK combo. You're fending off guys for a long time. And when I first played this back on Veteran, like way back in the day, I remember this mission being a lot harder than it was. It only took me 2 tries this time around, though. Maybe it's because I was popping off. I don't know what it was. I was picking off the enemies as soon as they came in on the choppers, killing the dogs right when they came in. I had good claymore placements. But yeah, man, you are holding out for your backup. Oh, I forgot to mention, dude. The one helicopter comes and crashes on McMillan, and it fucks his legs up. So you have to carry McMillan around and then set him down in various spots where he can give you backup. But yeah, he's crippled, so you have to carry him. And it gave me so much anxiety carrying him to the chopper at the end of the mission when your chopper finally gets here too, because you're like getting shot at the same time, and you're like, God, I really don't want to die carrying this guy and have to restart because that would feel so bad. But yeah, that's really it, man. 50,000 people used to live there, man, but now it's a ghost town. So yeah, you eventually board the chopper, and then that ends the flashback mission number 14. Moving on to mission number 15, Heat. This was... Oh my God. This was arguably this was the most difficult mission in the game for me coming back to. Probably was back in the day too. Fuck the end part of this mission, dude. It drove me crazy. Like, this was the first time I've genuinely gotten so mad at a game before. It was just so fucking annoying, dude. But yeah, this mission takes place 8 hours after the death of Al-Assad. So previously, you know, we did the 15-year ago all gillied up mission, and then the one-shot, one-kill mission. Now there's another time jump. No, not really time jump. You kind of just go back to where you left off here. 8 hours after you kill Al-Assad, there's a massive, massive Russian force invasion, and they're trying to secure Al-Assad. You know, they don't know you have him killed yet, and they think you're a bigger army than you are, right? You basically just have to fend off waves of Russians with these bombs that are going off. You keep getting pushed back. You man a down chopper gunner, like a minigun on it to kill a bunch of guys too. You just have to keep getting pushed back to the farmhouse where you killed Al-Assad. And then that's where the LZ is supposed to be, right? But then it turns out the LZ is too hot. So your boy can't pick you up there. He has to pick you up down at the bottom of the hill, like where Safe House starts, like right where you start that mission. So it's just a backwards truck through the mission, Safe House essentially. It's just annoying, right? Because there's so many fucking enemies you have to kill. And you can mark stuff in this with like an artillery strike, but it doesn't really help that much. You have 4 smoke grenades, which you have to really utilize to get yourself on a path. Basically, all you have to do is you have to run down all the way back to that gas station LZ. But it's impossible because there's enemies everywhere. You're getting held from every angle. You cannot kill them all. The AI in this game, like your teammate, doesn't help at all. The enemies, they lock onto you the second you peek. You're getting naded out the asshole. There's just spamming nades. But if you can eventually make your way all the way down to the LZ, then congratulations, you beat the mission. This one took me so many attempts. I had to cut so much of this out of my playthrough because I just died so many fucking times on this mission. It was very, very annoying. That brings us into mission number 16, which is Sins of the Father. Basically, we're trying to find Imran Zakhaev, but he's gone into hiding. So we find the next best thing, which is his son, Viktor Zakhaev. We want to try to find him and, interrogate him to find out where his father is. So what we do is we play as Soap. We take out like an enemy checkpoint. We switch into all of the enemy's clothing and kind of just wait for them to show up. Viktor Zakhaev eventually shows up in a convoy. He gets away. You chase him through this town and up a building. Eventually, where he shoots himself in the head because he doesn't want to take himself. He doesn't want to be taken alive, obviously, because why not, right? Shoot yourself in the head to avoid all of the shit going on in your life, I guess. He's like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm not going down like that. So yeah, he just kills himself, and justified too, because fuck you, bad guy. Fuck you. And that kind of leads us into the final act of the game. Imran is really pissed off that we killed his son. So now the nukes are going off, baby. And that's why the mission is called Ultimatum. You play as Soap, typically with the SAS. It's a USMC joint op. And then you parachute to this drop zone. Griggs is missing, though, so you have to find and rescue Griggs. I know I didn't really mention him. He's kind of not that of an important character. He's Sergeant Griggs. He's just one of the guys in your squadron. You free Griggs, and then you eventually make your way to an electric tower to detonate a C4 on, which disables all of the power long enough for a different team to enter the nuclear facility. While your team, Price, and your team fight into different buildings to meet up with an American sniper team, and then you eventually just end the mission there. 2 missiles get launched. Pretty easy mission, though. It's just a lot of patience you have to have. Number 18 is the mission All In. Following the launch of the 2 nuclear missiles, they are heading for the eastern seaboard of the U.S., man. And if we don't disable these, then a lot of fucking American lives are at stake, man. So we gotta do some shit fast here. We gotta be a patriot. The SAS and the USMC work together to get into the launch facility, fighting off numerous enemies and tanks. You have to put C4 on while it's covered by smoke. You have smoke grenades. You have to throw them out. And then stick C4 to these tanks and explode them. Pretty sick. I thought it was going to be a little harder, but it was actually not too bad. You cut open the vents on the launch silo, right? Or some of the missile silos, and then you rappel down into them, which leads you to the next level. So yeah, this mission is really just a 3-part, or this sequence is just a 3-part, story to just getting these nukes and disabling them, really. It takes you into mission number 19, No Fighting in the War Room, which we're still playing as Soap. You have to fight your way through countless enemies on a timer because the rest of the missiles are going to launch. And you have to get to the mission control room where you need to upload abort codes that are given to you by the, I believe it's the USMC. I cannot remember exactly, but yeah, you have to upload these abort codes. This is the first encounter in the game where enemies spawn behind you. It doesn't happen too often. There's just like one section where there's like a bunch of like pallets and like cargo stuff, I think. And then, yeah, I had enemies spawn behind me and die to me, which I died to them. It's like, okay, weird. It's just a weird section. It's not that hard though. So yeah, we eventually, get to the fucking control room there, the missile control room. After you successfully upload the abort codes, it's confirmed that there's debris falling in the ocean, but we did it, man. And then we eventually see Imran Zakhaev on the fucking screen, right? He's trying to escape. So we're just like, oh, hell yeah, it's chase time. It's time for a good old chase sequence here. You eventually fight your way to a vehicle depot, clearing out enemies, and then that is where the mission ends and where the final mission of the game takes place, man. Mission number 20, Game Over. You play as Soap, of course, with the SAS as a joint op. All the stuff we already knew. You escape the launch facility from the last mission, taking down multiple trucks of Russian forces and being chased by a chopper. It flies off, though, and it blows up the bridge in front of you that's preventing your escape. Things are looking grim. It's looking like it's going to be the end here. Unfortunately, Griggs tries to save us, but he eventually dies himself. Pretty tragic, And then eventually it's looking like it's a grim end. Zakhaev's walking up to basically just finish you off. But then your boys help you out. Sergeant Kamarov and some Russian loyalists, they come to help you. They're blowing shit up. Zakhaev gets distracted, and same with his Russian soldiers that are with him. Captain Price is still woozy, but he slides you a pistol. Soap catches the pistol on the ground, pulls it up, headshots Zakhaev and his 2 Russian bitches. And then that is it, man. Kamarov lands. He says, "You're going to be okay, my friend." It's looking like it's going to be the end for Price, but we all know how that goes. The guy is unkillable, so he eventually makes it. It's not confirmed in this game that he makes it, but we all know he obviously does make it. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the fucking end of the campaign. It's so fucking good. Such a great mission to end on. It's just such a captivating ending to such a great game. It's so amazing. Absolutely love this game. And then the credits start rolling, man. During the credits, I don't know if this is a remastered thing or if it's just for COD 4 in general did this too, but there's actually a rap at the end with voice lines from like Vasquez and like all the different soldiers in this game. And then it eventually leads into like this hardcore like metal-ish song, which is pretty cool. Really fucking cool, actually. But then the screen eventually goes black and you're like, hell yeah, I did it. I beat the goddamn game here. But then all of a sudden you get like a small little cutscene again and you see like a thermite charge zapping through this metal. It's completely black and then you just jump down and you're like, wait a second, there's another mission. What the hell? And this is the shortest mission in the game, besides maybe the first one, but this is really the shortest actual mission in the game. It's like an epilogue mission. You're an unnamed Task Force 141 operator on a plane with a small team. You're trying to save a VIP, very important person. Basically, you just clear this plane of a bunch of enemies. You go up, you kill the guy that's holding the VIP as a human shield. And then you take him, jump out of the plane explodes, and then that's it. Congratulations. Now you've officially beaten the game. Guys, do you remember how hard this was on Veteran? This probably took me maybe 15 tries this time around to beat on Veteran. It's harder on Veteran, obviously, because you have a 1-minute timer, so you really have to be speedy. You have to have really good flashbang timings or stun grenade timings. You have to know where all the enemies are. You have to pick up a P90. It's like a whole thing. It's actually kind of difficult, but it didn't take me too long. I remember this taking me so fucking long when I was a kid to beat, dude. It took so long because I was so bad at this. But yeah, man, you beat this, and then you're officially done with the campaign of Call of Duty 4. Now, once you jump out of the plane, the screen finally cuts to black, and then eventually you get a picture of Task Force 141. And it says, Heartbreakers and Life Takers, thanks for playing, Semper Fi. And it's Price, Gaz, and I believe it's Griggs, and if that's either Soap or Vasquez. I don't think it's Soap, right? It doesn't look like Soap. I feel like such an idiot for not knowing this, but yeah, it has to be. Yeah, because he's got the American flag on him. Yeah, it's definitely Vasquez and Soap. Or not Soap, but whatever the other guys I said. And that's it, man. This campaign is so cool to me. My first ever Call of Duty campaign I played, and that's why it's so memorable. World at War follows this game after, and it just knocks it out of the park again. Some people say World at War is just a COD 4 reskin, and it's like, yeah, it kind of is, but it still has a very unique campaign and also a zombies experience that we all know and love. But yeah, man, that's the campaign. So I just love it, man. I really have no words to say. I'm starstruck every time I play it. I'm in awe. My jaw is open. Just especially in remastered, playing it is just so like, dude, the graphics are insane. Like I'm still playing X Defiant a lot, and dude, the graphics are on this game that came out in 2016 are arguably better than X Defiant's graphics that just came out like 2 weeks ago, which is saying a lot. I mean, say what you want about Activision and Call of Duty, but when it comes to graphics, man, they know what they're doing and they kill the shit. But obviously that's not what makes a good game, right? Good games are made by fun gameplay and replayability. Unfortunately, graphics only carries a game so far, but that's the campaign, man. Let's move on to the very famous multiplayer that we all know and love. I cannot wait. So let's just get right into it. Speaking of replayability, we are getting into Call of Duty 4 multiplayer. Man, how many of us spent so long playing Call of Duty multiplayer? Especially this is back when there was only like 3 kill streaks, right? Pretty bare bones. There's like very few camos. Not too much to grind for besides the classic prestige system, and we'll get all into that. But man, this is something they took away from new CODs, and I don't know why, man. I really hope they go back to Black Ops, or Black Ops 6 brings it back to like the classic prestiges. And if it integrates with Warzone again, and Warzone is the most like cared for product of Call of Duty this year, I just don't think it's going to do that well, man. But I'm not going to try to get into downer new Call of Duty too much. We'll just stick to classic COD 4 multiplayer here, and then talk a little bit about the remaster. So yeah, let's get into it. I guess we can. We'll just go through it, right? We'll discuss the maps, the modes, the weapons. Yeah, let's just do it, bro. So let's just talk a little bit about the create a class system. As far as I'm concerned, this was brand new to Call of Duty at the time. Like I mentioned, this is my first Call of Duty I ever played. So I'm not too sure about how the multiplayer was for like COD 3 and if there was on COD 2 and whatever. Not focusing on that at all, but as far as I'm concerned, this is like the first time we've ever seen create a class in a FPS game, FPS multiplayer game. And what it consisted of is a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, 3 different perk slots. Perks are just different little things you can get to enhance different like play styles of gameplay. They're like little extra things your character can do. As far as equipment goes, you can only have frag grenades in this game, right? So there was no Semtex or any other grenade alternatives in that. There was special grenades, however. There was flashbangs, stun grenades, smoke grenades, and then there was equipment. Equipment was like on your D-pad or whatever. So we had C4s and claymores. In the later games, they just kind of integrated them into like your equipment or your tacticals, but that's that as far as that goes, and that was it, man. And then you had some gun attachments, not very many. You just had a red dot, an ACOG, and a silencer, and that's pretty much it. And then some guns had like a grenade launcher as well. All right, now that we went over the class, why don't we just go over all the weapons and then the perks, and then after that we'll do maps maybe. So starting with the assault rifles, I'm just going to go down the list and mention each one. I'll mention how good or utilized they are. Starting with the M16A4, everybody remembers the famous M16 from COD 4. You slap the red dot on this thing, and it's honestly the single best gun in the game. It really is too, man. M16 red dot was absolutely disgusting at its time. One bursted everything. We had the M4 carbine. It was pretty good, Pretty solid AR option. AK-47 was pretty good. G3 was the single fire gun of this game. It was pretty good. G36, obviously, all absolute classic. And the M14 as well. M14 is another single shotgun. And then the MP44, which you get by hitting rank 55. All of these are very good. Like, there's not a bad gun in this game as far as I'm concerned. Moving on to SMGs, we have the MP5. My personal favorite, my go-to weapon in Call of Duty. Always get this thing every time. Always use it. Always rank it up. I'm using it in XDefiant right now as well. Just thought I'd mention that. We have the Scorpion. The Scorpion is probably the weakest of the SMGs. It's very fun to use, but it's not that great. It's got weird iron sights, pretty short clip, mediocre damage, but still fun to use. The Mini Uzi, which is pretty good. AK-74U. Classic and really good, and then the P90, which everybody was very good with as well. I like that gun. It was pretty good. Moving on to LMGs, there's only 3 of them. We have the M249 SAW, the RPD, and the M60. All of these very solid options as well. I didn't really use LMGs too much in my time playing this, but I do remember enjoying the M60 quite a bit. Moving on to shotguns, we have the W1200, which is like the pump shotty, and then the M1014, which is like the semi-auto shotty. Both of these are pretty decent. M1014 is disgusting back in the day. Close quarters, you just do not stand a chance against this goddamn thing. Snipers, let's talk about the snipers. M40A3, this was the one every single person used on COD. This is the Barrett, right? The Barrett 50 cal. Most powerful guns in the game. Always one shot every single time from any range. Very, very solid. The R700 was another bolt action option, except I feel like the M40 was just better. Maybe the R700 hit harder, but the M40 was just more consistent, I feel like, and it had more ammo before you had to reload it. Right. And then we have the two semi auto snipers, the M21 and the Dragunov. Both pretty decent. Didn't really use these. Like I said, if you're going to snipe in COD 4, you really want to go for the Barrett or the M40 just because they're simply just way better, you know? And then the sidearms, we have the M9, we have the USP, we have the M1911, and the Desert Eagle, which are all very solid options. We'd love to see these guns in the game. I was always a run and gun type guy. I never really camped in these games, so I was always with the MP5, running around, flanking with the suppressor. I loved how it sounded back in the day. MP5 suppress is so iconic, man. Absolutely love that shit. Moving on to perks, they had them in 3 separate perk slots, right? Perk 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 perks were C4 times 2, RPG times 2, Special Grenade times 3, Claymore times 2, Frag times 3, Bandolier, which was just more ammo essentially, and then Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad was basically sit rep where you could kind of see explosives like C4s and Claymores and stuff through walls, and it would just highlight them so you don't die to them. Perk 1, the first perk slot was just essentially, setting up your utility. And then perk 2, we have stopping power, which was extra bullet damage. Self-explanatory. Everybody ran this shit. It was so good. More bullet damage equals faster kills, equals more kills, Don't have to explain that too much. We have Juggernaut, which is, it means more health. So you obviously have more health than everyone else, which is also very good, very self-explanatory. More health means you live longer, so very good. Sonic Boom. I believe this one was changed to Danger Close. This was the one that made it so explosives did more damage. So, your grenades were better. RPG was better, stuff like that. Grenade launcher as well. UAV Jammer. This was before Ghost was a thing. So if you wanted to not be spotted by UAVs, sorry for the dead air, you would either have to use this perk or a suppressor or both. We all had a stealth class that we used where we would throw on UAV Jammer. But it just sucked in this game because you had to give up stopping power, You had to give up stopping power or Jug. I was never a Juggernaut abuser. I preferred stopping power just because more kills equals more dopamine. But yeah, it just kind of sucked that you had to sacrifice stopping power for UAV Jammer. But if you could hit your shots, it wasn't that bad at the end of the day. Sleight of Hand, which is weird to see as a perk 2. Normally it's not a perk 2. They changed it. Sleight of Hand is just faster reloading. Pretty self-explanatory. It's just nice to be able to reload faster. But not in this game, right? Because like I said, you have to sacrifice that stopping power to do it. Double Tap. Double Tap is just what it is in every single Call of Duty. Faster fire rate. Not too great because you got to give up stopping power, obviously. And then Overkill. Overkill was good for like sniper classes. What it let you do is you would get rid of your secondary gun and you would get another primary. So you could run with like a sniper MP5. You could run 2 LMGs. You could run shotgun sniper. You could run assault rifle shotgun. Like anything in the game that your heart desired, you could run. Moving on to perk 3. Perk 3 is kind of just enhances your soldiers' agility, I guess. Not even. They're just kind of weird. We have Extreme Conditioning, which is kind of like stamina. It just lets you sprint for a lot longer. Steady Aim. Steady Aim improves your hip fire accuracy. Deep Impact. Deep Impact was later changed to FMJ as a weapon attachment, but Deep Impact does the same thing. It just lets you shoot harder through surfaces. We have Last Stand, which is so dumb. Last Stand, everybody remembers this bullshit. You basically get knocked instead of dying, and you fall down with your pistol. You have a chance to take out your killer before you die. So you basically just fall out, you pull your pistol out, and you have a chance to kill somebody. But it's just dumb. It's stupid to play against, man. We have Martyrdom. Martyrdom means if you die, then you drop a live grenade. So if people are, this is good against like shotgunners or people that are playing close range. If they kill you, you have a chance to kill them back with a grenade. So it is what it is. Pretty decent. I mean, it's all right. I used to run it sometimes. We have Iron Lungs, which, when you're holding your breath with a sniper, it makes it so you can be more precise. That just makes it so you can hold your breath for longer. Pretty useless perk. You don't really want to be holding your breath for too long. Also, you want to be changing your angles pretty frequently. So, very, very stupid perk. We have Eavesdrop, which, guys, this is a dead in the water perk, is it not? Eavesdrop used to make it so you could hear the enemy team in voice chat, which was, it's just funny because, like, Xbox party chat's a thing, Discord is now a thing. But guys, back then, way back when, you might not even know this, but Xbox 360 used to never have party chat. It used to only have private chat. So you only used to be able to ever talk to one other person while playing a different game. So if you wanted to talk to all your buddies at the same time, you had to all be on the same game. So yeah, if that was the case and you had Eavesdrop on and the enemy team happened to be in voice chat, then yeah, you could spy on them, I guess. This was back. I mean, this was just a different time in gaming, man. People just aren't active in voice chat anymore, thanks to like Discord and party chats and whatnot. It's just sad, man. I would love to see this come back, maybe force people into game chat with it, or I don't know, man. I don't think this could ever make a comeback just because of how irrelevant game chat is today, Kind of sad to see, but it's just very interesting for its time. And then the last tier 3 perk is Dead Silence. Silencing your footsteps, obviously very strong with stealth classes because you're heard less. Yeah, I don't know if it's complete muted, but I think it's like very, very, very silenced. So the average player will probably not pick up on that you're sneaking around. And that's it for all the perks, man. Let's move on to the kill streaks. There's only 3 of them, right? So if you don't know what a kill streak is, it's what it sounds like. You go on a streak of kills and you are rewarded for it. If you get a 3 kill streak, then you get a UAV, which if you don't know what it does, for some reason, you have a mini map in the top right of your screen. I believe it's top right. It could be top left, but I'm pretty sure it's top right. And it'll highlight enemy players where they are on the mini map, so you can hunt them down and kill them. Unless they're using UAV jammer, obviously. And also, they'll show up on the minimap if they shoot without a suppressor as well. Obviously, that's worth mentioning. So yeah, the radar is very, very useful. If you get 5 kills, you get an airstrike. You call in and you basically call in this thing. It pulls up the minimap. You drag your cursor to wherever you want to drop these airstrikes. And then you drop it and it strikes one time. Does it strike 1 or 3 times? I can't remember. So yeah, you just choose one location and then 3 different planes fly over and drop bombs on it, which is pretty nice. You can get a fuck ton of kills with this thing, especially on like small maps like Shipment, obviously. And then if you get 7 kill streaks, you get an attack helicopter, which all this thing does, it comes in, it flies in, it guns down anybody it can kill that are in the open. Obviously, it can't shoot through walls or anything and kill people inside. Although it does feel like that sometimes, right? But yeah, this thing is insane. The only way you could get rid of this thing was shooting it down with LMG or an RPG to get rid of it. I remember always I would have a class set up with an LMG and RPGs to swap just to get rid of it. Just because I liked being that asshole that cucked your kill streak. I always held rockets in the later games to get rid of kill streaks. Just because, that's just good utility to get rid of. And I'm trying to fucking win and be a team player, But yeah, this thing was pretty fucking solid. Especially if you could keep killing the guys that were trying to take it down, or if they couldn't take it down. Because remember, the RPG it was random, right? Like you wouldn't always shoot it dead on. It wouldn't always go straight on. So this thing was actually kind of hard to take out. And you had to hit it twice. So if you were the only one shooting it and you were dying still, it's like very hard to get off, man. But yeah, that's all the kill streaks in the game. Let's talk about the maps, shall we? There is quite a few of them, but I'm just going to mention them real quick. I'm going to do my best to describe them here, although the way I describe it is going to be retarded. Nobody's going to know what I'm talking about, but we're going to shoot for it anyway, okay? So starting off with Ambush. Ambush is the one with the tank in the middle. I believe this one takes place in one of the Middle Eastern countries. It's got the two little sewers underground that connect both sides that you can kind of go underneath and flank through. Just a huge fuck fest for the high ground control on both sides. It's 3 lanes, classic map. Very, very sweet. We have Backlot. Backlot is the one with the construction going on and the turret. It's got the famous saw turret on the one side of the map, looking into the destroyed building across the way. Love Backlot. That's a good one. We have Block. Block is the famous sniper map. This is one that takes place in a Chernobyl map, like near the Ferris wheel. 2 buildings across from each other. A lot of center. Nobody wants to go in the center though, because it's just you're gonna die to snipers. You know what I mean? It's all about going through the buildings and just trying to get kills through there, and then flanking around on the outsides as well. Pretty solid map. Love to see this one. We have Bog. Bog is the swamp one with the giant debris pile in the middle. It's a swampy nightmare. There's a building on the one side you can go through. There's like the buses in the center. It's basically the one campaign mission. Obviously, we have Countdown. Countdown is the one that takes place on the missile silo. It's got the open missile silos with the smoke everywhere. You can go around the outsides of the map, like with the grates and stuff. And there's like multiple bunkers you can play in as well. You can actually jump on top of like the silo caps that are open, which is pretty nice. We have Crash and Winter Crash. Winter Crash was not originally on the Xbox. I believe it was only on the PC version. Was not on Xbox and PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken. But it did come to remastered. But it was not in the original. Crash is the famous one with the helicopter crashed in the middle you can play in. It's got the building with a huge roof and the fence you can climb all the way up in. It's got the city section on the opposite side. With the cars that explode. I remember always loading into Hardcore Search on this map specifically, taking out an RPG and shooting the car and just team killing my whole team right off the rip. They used to get so fucking mad, dude. It was so funny. Oh my god. Me and my buddies used to take turns doing it and we would piss kids off so bad, dude. We were so bad at that with that. Oh my god. It was so annoying for them probably. We have Crossfire. Crossfire is arguably this most iconic map. Well, after Shipment, of course. Crossfire is the one where you're escorting Warpig through the town on campaign. It's got a very, very long range. Buildings, sniper battles happen a lot. You can flank through the buildings with SMGs. You can cross through the middle of the road, but it's usually a death sentence. You don't really want to cut through the middle on this map. But yeah, man, iconic ass map. We have District. District is iconic for the well, right? There was a challenge in this game. I guess I'll mention challenges really quick. There were challenges you could do, kills with weapons, kills with equipment, headshots, and then there was like random challenges where you had to like fall to your death more than 30 feet or something, and then like fall 15 feet and survive. All they did was give you XP, and you needed XP to level up. That's all I'll mention about challenges. They're not really worth talking about further, but yeah, there was a challenge for killing yourself for more than 30 feet. I remember every time I prestiged and got that challenge back unlocked, I would always jump down the well first thing to get that. So yeah, there's District. It takes place inside just a little small village. There's a lot of chickens everywhere. We have Downpour. Downpour is the one where it's raining. It's on like a farm. I think it's from the mission Hunted, if I'm not mistaken. You know, there's the farm equipment you can play around. There's the one building you can run through. I think there's a turret on the one side of the map, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe both sides of the map. There's the hole in the wall near the giant farm silos you can crawl through. I used to always crawl through that and die. Moving on to Overgrown. Overgrown is the one with the giant fucking trench in the middle. It's like a river that's been dried up, right? There's like a gas station. There's a farm, multiple houses. Pretty iconic map. Pipeline. This was probably my favorite one. They brought this one back for Modern Warfare. Advanced Warfare as the Atlas map, which was pretty cool. This is the one with the. I really have no idea how to describe this one, guys. If I'm being completely honest, um, it's got the two buildings that are facing each other. There's like an underground path you can take. There's the center building with a turret on it, I believe. Not entirely sure. Sorry, I genuinely don't know how to describe this one. There's no really key elements that stand out. Shipment. Everybody knows Shipment, dude. It's the famous shipping container yard. Smallest map in the game. Smallest map ever made, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely smaller than Rust. Shipment, it's the go-to map. Everybody's go-to map for getting a shit ton of kills. I've broken 100 kills multiple times on Shipment. It's just hell. Back in the day when I used to wanted to rank up all the time, I would play this map, but my taste has really changed a lot. I can't lie. I don't really like Shipment anymore. Just spawning and dying on cooldown is just not fun. Moving on to Showdown. Showdown is the campaign mission where al-Assad kills the president Yasir. It takes place in that location. It's just a huge square with like a very square building. There's high ground and low ground to it. Just a giant square. That's really all I have to describe this map as. We have Strike. This came back in MW2, I believe, in a map pack, which is pretty cool. Strike is another, I think it's a map in the Middle East. It's just like a village. There's cars that blow up, a lot of buildings. Very hard to describe, I can't lie. So we'll move on to Vacant. Vacant is another small map. It's not the smallest map in the game. This one's hard to describe as well, guys. I don't know what to say about it. It's mostly indoors, although there is an outdoor area, and then there's like an outdoor courtyard in the middle. We have Wet Work, iconic ass Wet Work. This is the Crew Expendable mission. Takes place on the ship in the first mission, and you can turn on and off your night vision on this map as you please. It's pretty cool. It's raining. Very cool vibe on this map. And that is it for the base maps. And then they released the variety map pack a little while after the game was out, which came with 4 maps. We have Broadcast, which was just, the broadcast TV station from the campaign, which is pretty good. Chinatown. I believe this is a remake of a Call of Duty 2 map, if I'm not mistaken. I liked it. Chinatown was pretty solid. Creek was pretty good. I barely remember this map. Same with Kill House. Creek and Kill House are the last two. Kill House was basically a small ass map that takes place in like the training room facility from the campaign. And then the last one, Creek, pretty self-explanatory. Took place on a creek. There's a cave you can go through, some buildings to get in, but that's really it. That's all the maps in the game, guys. This game had a lot of good maps. There's not only a few I really dislike. Like, I would say Bog isn't the greatest map. I would say District isn't the greatest map. And I don't really much care for Overgrown that much. But as far as that goes, pretty solid maps all around here, man. I love them. All right, guys. I just realized this video is over an hour. It's probably gonna be the longest video, but I just love talking COD 4. So I'm just gonna talk about the ranking system, and then we'll move on. If you don't know how this game works, there's a ranking system with XP. Every kill you get is XP. Every objective you capture is XP. Basically, everything you do in the game rewards you with XP. So when you get enough XP, you rank up. You can see it with the XP bar in the bottom of your screen, which I wish they would bring back, or at least give us the option in the future to do this, man. I love when the XP bar is on the bottom and you feel like you can just, I can do really well this game and rank up. I don't know, man. I just miss it. It's very cool. So yeah, there's ranks 1 through 55. As you're ranking up, you're unlocking weapons, you're unlocking perks, you're unlocking equipment. So it really feels like there's progression in the game because of that. And then once you get to rank 55, you have to fill 55 all the way up, and then you can enter what's called Prestige Mode. And what Prestige Mode is you reset your rank to 1, but you get an icon. And you get a special icon, and there's 10 of them. You really don't get much from it, especially in this game. Like, you don't get I think you do. Are calling cards in COD 4? I can't even remember. I don't think so. But you do get special calling cards and stuff later. But in this game, you get a rank icon, right? And that was like the appeal of COD multiplayer, was being able to move throughout the ranks, you know, uh, being able to get all of the prestiges, get 10th prestige, which I did. I was a no life kid, man. I loved ranking up in COD multiplayer. It was just so fun, man. Like, just getting on after school with your buddies, fucking loading up, shooting shit, having a good time, talking shit to each other, talking shit to kids online, talking shit in search and destroy lobbies. Like, damn, it just doesn't get better. Oh, I forgot to mention, I should talk about the modes really quick. So I'll talk about the modes briefly after this. But yeah, that's just how the ranking works. I would love to see the classic prestige return. Please, Activision, bring this shit back. Please bring it back. Just before I talk about the modes, let me briefly mention the camos. There was camos you can get for doing, challenges with weapons. I believe they were only headshots, though. They didn't get anything crazy just yet. In the later games, you have to do crazy stuff to get some camos, but that was it, man. It was just getting kills and then getting headshots. I always used to rock Red Tiger and Blue Tiger. Those are the best in my opinion. I didn't really care for anything else. And you could get gold guns in this game as well. But the fact is gold was the mastery camo, right? If you hit level 55, then you got the golden deagle for free, the golden desert eagle. However, there was a golden gun in each class, which kind of sucks, right? I mean, you could only get one mastery camo for one gun in each class, which if it's a gun you didn't use, just felt really bad. The M1014 was the golden shotgun for completing all the shotgun challenges. The Dragunov was the one for all the sniper challenges. The Mini Uzi was the one for all the submachine gun challenges. The AK-47 was the one for all the assault rifle challenges. And the LMG was the M60. Which is unfortunate because, like, the only gun I used out of all of these was the AK-74. The AK-47 and the M60 and the M1014, but I really never used the shotgun. That's just the one I would go to if I were to use a shotgun. So I never really bothered getting any of these because it didn't really feel worth my time, you know? I just really wanted to use what I like to use. Didn't really feel like gold was worth it for these guns, but hey, I mean, if you wanted to grind for it, it was available to back in the day, so that's pretty cool. Let's move on to the game modes, though. Let me just fly through these real quick. We have Cage Match, which is just a 1v1, team 1v1 free-for-all type deal. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. We have Domination, classic Domination. Everybody knows this. There's 3 flags on the map. One is a friendly flag, one's an enemy flag, and then you have to fight over the neutral flag. Whoever holds the neutral flag for longer wins, or holds 2 flags longer wins. We have Free-for-all, which is just, 8 players get into a lobby. There's no teams. Everybody kills each other. Ground War, which was basically just normal Call of Duty, except there was more players in a lobby. I believe it had Domination and TDM in it. There's Team Deathmatch, obviously. There's 2 teams of 6 players, and you just kill each other. First one to 75 wins. I believe it's 75 in this game. I can't even remember. They just change every game. There's Headquarters. Headquarters it's kind of like King of the Hill, except there's like this Headquarters little station that spawns in. If you capture it, then you only get 1 life, and you have to hold this thing for 60 seconds. Or I believe it expires after a minute, right? But if you die within that minute, then you can't respawn. So the enemy team has to work to, try to clear out the zone, get all the kills, and then cap the Headquarters. And then the longer you hold the Headquarters, the longer your score goes up, and that's how you win that. Headquarters was pretty solid, man. Always used to love this. There's Mercenary Team Deathmatch, which was basically just solo queue Team Deathmatch if you didn't want to run into big stacks. There was Old School, which was kind of weird. I don't know what this alludes to when it says Old School. I don't know if it means like old school shooter or what, but there was like higher jump damage. I think this was like a reference to Quake or something like that. You could pick up weapons and perks on the map. It was actually kind of interesting. I'd love to see them return to this. We have Sabotage. Sabotage was pretty interesting. I really don't think we've seen this mode in a while. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but who knows? Sabotage, there's basically a neutral bomb. There's basically an objective marker in each player's base. You had to escort your bomb carrier over there, plant the bomb, and then detonate it to win. And whoever detonated it first wins. There's only 1 round pretty cool. And then it also had like a overtime or sudden death, which was pretty interesting as well. Search and Destroy, arguably the most iconic game type to ever grace Call of Duty. Search and Destroy is the famous one life only per round game mode. You only have one life when you spawn in. There's a bomb that spawns in. There's 2 bomb sites. You can choose to go either to A or B. You have to plant the bomb if you're the attacker, or defend it from being planted if you're the defender, or defuse it if you're the defender, and if the plant is successful. And like I said, you only have one life, so you have to play it very tactically. You have to clear angles, take different angles, take gunfights to win the game. Pretty fucking fun. There's Team Tactical, which is, I believe this is smaller teams of 3 players, which was cool if you had that amount of people on. I remember every time I used to play with like 2 buddies, we would just play Team Tactical for fun, just because, we make up all of the teams, so it's just Team Gap. Within Team Tactical, you could play Search and Destroy, Headquarters, Sabotage, Domination, and TDM, which is pretty nice. I think they should bring this back, man. I really love Team Tac. And then they have Hardcore, which Hardcore is basically just all of the normal game types, except you have no HUD and damage is lethal. So like 1 bullet can kill from like any gun, or 2 at the most, I would say. And that's really it, man. And then I guess I'll just mention for Remastered what they brought in. I'm not going to describe what the game types are, but for Remastered, they brought in Kill Confirmed. It's the dog tag one. Hardpoint, which is, the King of the Hill one. Gun Game, which is, classic. You go through all the guns to win the game. Capture the Flag, Prop Hunt, and then Demolition, which is like similar to Sabotage, or similar to Search and Destroy, except it's unlimited lives and you keep spawning. But that's really it, man. That's all the game modes in the game. So let's just talk. I don't want to go on too much longer. I know this video is already way too long, but I'll just mention a few things about what the remastered multiplayer does and then move on from there, okay? So I'll just go through it really quick. They added a bunch of customization options like weapon kits. Weapon kits kind of just change how the weapons look a little bit. Pretty cool. They added a lot more camos. They added operator skins, like you can change the way your character looks, which you couldn't do in the original game, which is pretty cool. They added a couple different like lighting maps, like beach time bog or daytime bog, as well as winter crash and stuff like that. They added melee weapons, which was actually pretty cool. You could replace your secondary with a melee weapon, which was just a 1-hit up close with, all sorts of knives. There was like a broken glass bottle, samurai sword, all sorts of crazy different shit. They added new guns like the XM LAR, the BOS 14, the Lynx CQ 300, the MAC 10, the Kamchatka 12, and the Rangers, the 44 Magnum, the Prolocot, the BR9, the PKM, the Beretta MK8, the STAC Aggressor, the D25S, and I believe that was it. I don't really remember any of these because I didn't use them much. Because I'm going to talk about the worst fucking thing they ever could have done with this game. Actually, let me just talk a little bit about the master camo. So they added gold for every gun, which is cool. And then they also added an exclusive mastery camo for everything, right? So if you get if you complete challenges for every single gun in the game, then you get what's called an exclusion zone camo, which is pretty cool. It's like black and it like pulses green. It's like very Modern Warfare. It's like that very black and green style that the game, basically is. Very, very solid. But what I don't like that they added, guys, the depot and supply drops. They added it. Of course, this is getting to the point. First of all, let me just mention that the only reason they made this probably is because they knew Infinite Warfare wasn't going to do well. I personally did like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I think it was very overhated. If it wasn't the 3rd jetpack game in a row, I don't think it would have gotten nearly as much hate as it did. It's a solid game, but they bundled it with, Modern Warfare Remastered because they were probably scared of the backlash they were going to get. They didn't realize the community was going to be sick of, jetpack mobility. They wanted boots on the ground again. So they whipped up Modern Warfare Remastered. And then, of course, they had to throw in microtransactions with it too because this is getting to the point where Activision is, becoming very greedy with how they want to do their Call of Duty. So they add supply points, they add supply drops, they add the depot. So the only way you could get new weapons and new camos and new operators was by either paying for them for a chance to get them, right? Like you could not even buy stuff that you wanted because you had to spend money to get unlocked parts to build the weapon completely. And I got the XMLAR by complete luck. Like, yes, you can earn them by playing in game, right? Which is cool. You can earn currency by playing in game, but it's not nearly enough to get everything quick unless you open up your wallet, of course, right? Which just sucks, man. Like yeah, sure, it's cool that there's new content in the game. Like it's cool that the game stays true to the original Call of Duty 4. It really does. It's a really good remaster, campaign and all, campaign and multiplayer. It plays the exact same way. New weapons are a plus, I would say. It just sucks that, you have to open your wallet to get all the new shit or play forever, which is just unfortunate. It's just a cash grab from them. It's just greedy. I don't really like what they did here, but if you're somebody that played the game all the time and grinded it, good for you, man. I'm sure you had fun with all the new weapons and stuff. I forgot to mention they also added 10 more prestiges, so there's 20 prestiges in this game. Which if you want to play it that long, that's cool. That's great. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I went through a couple prestiges when this game first came out, but I didn't really stick with it. COD 4, it was great for its time. It's just a little too bare bones now. We were spoiled so much in the future games with how much stuff came out in the games in the future and how much customization there is and how many kill streaks you can choose from, how many camos you can choose from, different ways to play the game, different specialists, all kind of crazy shit. So, it's cool for people that want to play it. Unfortunately, I would come back to this game. It's just unfortunately dead on PC. So, just quite unfortunate, but yeah, that's really all the remaster does. I mean, as well as enhance the graphics, which the graphics look insane, I gotta say. The graphics are very, very, very good. So that's nice to see. I just love the fact that the game, they really stayed true to what Call of Duty 4 was, besides the microtransactions. And I appreciate that. I really do. I really don't think the addition of melee weapons are bad because I feel like melee weapons are just kind of bad in general. You know what I mean? Running around, especially because there's no like unlimited sprint in this game. There's no like lightweight or anything. It's kind of you're just kind of trolling, but that's fine too. Do you even run around with melee weapons, or does it just replace your knife? I'm pretty sure you can run around with them if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not entirely sure. But that's it, guys. That's all we'll really get into for Modern Warfare Remastered. Holy shit! Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you being here. I just wanted to talk about an iconic classic for my 10th episode, This is the 10th mainline episode of my podcast here, and I just wanted it to be something special. I wanted it to be something, I grew up playing, something that really spoke to me as, something I love to play. This really shaped my love for shooters. It shaped my love for class-based shooters. Shaped my love for the MP5, fell in love with the MP5 through this game, fell in love with Call of Duty through this game. I would not have played as much Call of Duty as I did if it was not for this game, and especially MW2 following this game was very, very good as well. Just fucking iconic ass game, man. A lot of good stuff came from this game. A lot of good stuff used in other FPSs. This game set the golden standard for what FPS multiplayer kind of was, this and Halo. This game came out a couple weeks after Halo, but it did really just as well. And man, I cannot believe, 2007 was such a massive year for first-person shooter games, guys. Like Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4 in the same year, within a couple weeks of each other. Like we were blessed back then, man, and it's just so nice to see. But yeah, that's it, guys. This is just definitely way too long. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I really don't have that much left to say, man. I just love Call of Duty 4. It's a fucking great game. So let's just, I'm not going to talk about too much about what I'm playing. Just talk about what, I can't talk. I'm fucking retarded. Sorry. I don't even know, dude. let's just talk a little bit about what I'm gonna do next here. So I'm uploading my gameplay, my veteran gameplay, as I speak to YouTube. So that'll be there to watch if you guys want to. That's cool. But for next, what's next on the channel? What's next for Jerry here? Today I'm gonna play more X Defiant today. Still in love with X Defiant. Still, I got back into Overwatch, man. I've been slaying it, playing a lot of Alari. She's so fucking fun, dude. After playing X Defiant for so long, the return to Overwatch wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I was a little washed at first, but man, it makes me feel more confident in my aim on Overwatch when I have another game to play. You know what I mean? That's why I love having two shooters that to play, and that's why I'm so thankful X Defiant is fun. And it's holding me probably till Black Ops 6, right? Because I hope Black Ops 6 knocks it out of the park, and then that'll be my main game. But if it's not, then I'll make a return to X Defiant. But I'm having fun with that for now. As far as episodes to expect, I'm playing a few things under the radar right now. I'm not gonna spoil. I kind of want to just drop them and surprise everyone. Not everyone, but myself, really. I just feel like it's more fun like that. If I tell you guys what I'm playing, or if I tell what I'm playing, it's just kind of like, oh, we expect this next week, whatever. But if I just drop something on you, you got people are gonna be like, whoa, what the hell, dude? This came out of nowhere. That's sick. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Playing a few things under the hood. Not gonna mention them. Expect maybe a mini sode on one of them next week. If not, I just expect an off angle. I'm not playing too much right now. Playing a few different things that I'm not gonna talk about, but yeah. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you're hearing this, Call of Duty 4 is iconic. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite weapon is, or what you loved the most about this game when it was out, or going back to it, or anything, man. Just let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Jerry App out. Peace. Goodbye.